Good day to all of you. Myself, Dr. Arvind Sharma, Associate Professor in Physics, Government Nagar College. Today's topic for MSc Final Physics, Two-Valley Model Theory. As we discussed about RWS theory in the last lecture, what is Two-Valley Model Theory? A few years before the gun effect was discovered, Kromer proposed a negative mass microwave amplifier in 1958 and 1959. And these are the numbers in bracket are references. You can ignore it when you are preparing for your MSc classes. These are reference papers, original papers from which the contents is given here. Okay. So before the gun effect, Kromer proposed a negative mass microwave amplifier according to the energy band theory. Which kind of theory he is used? Energy band theory of N-type gallium arsenide. The material used here, N-type gallium arsenide. A high mobility, lower valley is separated by an average of 0.36 electron volt from a low mobility upper valley. For N-type gallium arsenide, high mobility lower valley is separated by an energy 0.36 electron volt from a low mobility upper valley, which is shown below in figure 72.4. Here we can easily see that these are the valleys, lower valley and upper valley. And if we see the full figure, here this part shows valence band, this is forbidden band, and this one is conduction band. Here are the electrons, and the forbidden band gap is 1.43 electron volt, and the separation between lower valley and upper valley is 0.36 for the N-type gallium arsenide. Okay, and two-valley model of electron energy versus wave number. Electron energy versus wave number. Here, the data for lower valley and upper valley are given, which is easily understandable from this table, where valley, low and upper, effective mass, mobility and separation. MEL, effective mass for lower valley 0.068, MEU, effective mass for upper valley 1.2, MUL, mobility for lower valley 8000 centimeter square per volt second, MUU, mobility for upper valley 180 centimeter square per volt second, and the separation is same, delta E 0.36 electron volt, and the data given for N-type gallium arsenide. Electron densities in the lower and upper valley remains the same under an equilibrium conditions. Electron densities remains the same if conditions are equilibrium. When the applied electric field is lower than the electric field of the lower valley, suppose we apply electric field that is less than lower valley, E less than EL, no electron will transfer to the upper valley. Here the figure given E versus Q. This is lower valley, this is upper valley. Okay, if electric field is less than EL, no electron transfer possible. there is no possibility of electron transfer. And if E is between EL and EU, then there is some possibility of transfer of few electrons, transfer from lower to upper value. Okay, and if E is greater than EU, all electrons transfer to the upper value. Such kind of phenomena is known as transfer of electron densities. Transfer electron devices, due to this phenomena, the devices are known. Okay, so this para is explained by this figure. Data for two-valley semiconductors. Different kinds of semiconductors. Germanium, gallium arsenide, indium phosphide, cadmium telluride, indium arsenide, and indium iron. Okay. First of all, given gap energy at 300 degree K, easy in electron volt. Gap energy. Separation energy between two value, delta E, that is also different for different semiconductors. Threshold field, E threshold, kV per centimeter, and peak velocity 10⁷ per second. Okay, so these data are given, and we here are using gallium arsenide. Okay, so gallium arsenide, we see the value of gallium arsenide 0.364 separation between ions, and easy for this 1.5. Here INP, indium phosphide, is a three-valley semiconductor. INP is a three-valley semiconductor, and 0.60 electron volt is the separation energy between the middle and lower valley, and 0.8 electron volt that between upper and lower valley. That is very important for your objective questions and for competitive examination. INP is a three-valley semiconductor, and you can also mention this in your descriptive question also. Now, if electron densities in the lower and upper valleys are NL and N, if electron densities in the lowest and upper valleys are N, E and N, NL and LE, L for lower and U for upper. So conductivity for N-type gallium arsenide is given by sigma equal to E mu L NL plus mu U N U, where E is the electron charge, mu is the electron mobility, and small n equal to NL plus NU, electron density. A small example for conductivity of an N-type gallium arsenide gun diode is given here, that can be easily calculated by substituting the values directly in this formula. So you can easily do it. When a sufficiently high field is applied to the specimen, suppose a high field is applied to the specimen, what happens? Electrons are accelerated. Electrons are accelerated and their effective temperature rises above the lattice temperature. That is very important point to be understand here, that if we are taking a specimen and high field is applied, electrons are accelerated and their effective temperature rises above the lattice temperature, and their effective temperature rises above the lattice temperature. Furthermore, the lattice temperature also increases. Lattice temperature also increases. Thus, electron density N and mobility mu are both functions of electric. Electron density N and mobility mu are both functions of electric field. So, differentiating equation 7.22. Differentiate this equation with respect to d sigma upon dE equal to E mu L dNL upon dE plus mu U dNU upon dE plus E NL d mu L upon dE plus NU d mu E upon dE. Simple differentiation. If the total electron density is given by N equal to NL plus NU, total density, electron density is N equal to NL plus NU, and it is assumed that mu L and mu U are proportional to e raised to p. Assume that mu L and mu U are proportional to e raised to p, where p is a constant. Then d upon dE, NL plus NU equal to dN upon dE equal to 0. Hence, dNL upon E, dE equal to minus dNU upon dE. And d mu upon dE, we assume here that mu is proportional to e raised to p. Hence, this is proportional to d e raised to p upon dE equal to p e raised to p minus 1 equal to p e raised to p upon e, proportional to p mu upon e, and equal to mu p upon e. D mu upon e equal to mu p. Substituting this equation 4 and 6, equation 4 and equation 6 into equation 7.23 in this equation. D sigma upon dE equal to E mu L minus mu U dNL upon dE plus E NL mu L plus NU mu U P. Then differentiation of Ohm's law. Differentiation of Ohm's law J equal to sigma E with respect to E yields d J upon E, dJ upon E, dJ upon E equal to sigma plus d sigma upon dE. From here, we can easily see that differentiation is simple differentiation in both equations, in upper and this equation. Now, equation 8 can be written as 1 upon sigma dJ upon dE equal to 1 plus d sigma upon dE upon sigma upon E. We want to physically explain this equation. So, we convert this equation in this form. Sometimes we want to interpret physically some equations, then we convert the specific equation in some specific form. Clearly, for negative resistance, the current density J must decrease with increasing field. So, we know that dJ upon dE is negative for negative resistance. Such would be case only if the right term, how dJ upon dE is negative? If the right term is less than 0. This is the term and in other words, in condition minus d sigma upon d upon sigma upon E greater than 1. If this term is greater than 1, then this term is negative. If this is greater than 1 and have negative value. Substitution of equation 2 and 7 with f equal to nu upon nl. What is f? F equal to nu upon nl. Now equation becomes mu L minus mu U upon mu L plus mu F minus E upon NL dNL upon d minus E greater than 1. Note that the field exponent. What is P? P is field exponent. What is P? P is field exponent and it is a function of the scattering mechanism and should be negative and large. What is P? P is function of scattering mechanism and it is negative and large. This factor makes impurity scattering quite undesirable because when it is dominant, the mobility rises with an increasing field and thus P is positive. When lattice scattering is dominant, if lattice scattering is dominant, P is negative and must be depend on the lattice and carrier temperature. The first bracket is in equation 11 must be positive in order to satisfy unequality. This means that mu L greater than mu U, electrons must begin in a low mass valley and transfer to a high mass valley when they are heated by the electron. The maximum value of this term is unity. This is mu L greater than mu U. The factor dNL upon dE. The factor dNL upon dE in the second bracket must be negative. This quantity represents the rate of the carrier density with field at which electrons transfer to the atom. What is term dNL upon dE? It shows the rate of the carrier density with field at which electron transfer to the upper valley. This rate depends on the differences between electron densities, electron temperature and gap energies in the two valleys. This rate depends upon the difference between electron densities, electron temperature and gap energies in the two valleys. So, try to understand these concepts for two-valley model. In next lecture, we try to understand the few more arguments about this theory two-valley model. Okay, thanks to all.